Hello, great people. The Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, has closed down the National Secretariat of the People's Democratic Party, and he has declared a full-scale war on the Governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, and the Governor of Enugu State, Peter Mbah. On this episode of Politics with your Sure Plug, we'll be dissecting the issues. What made Nyesom Wike to close down the National Secretariat of the People's Democratic Party? What are the background politics, and what are the reasons for the action, and is it justifiable in any way or manner whatsoever? Then we'll be looking at the running battle between him and Seyi Makinde. So it's a two-in-one topic that we'll be treating in this video. Don't forget that Seyi Makinde is one of the G5 governors. The G5 governors were the League of Governors that sabotaged the effort of the PDP to reclaim power from the APC in 2023. They decide to work against the interest of their party, and they sabotage the effort of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of the PDP. Now, Nyesom Wike is in a running battle with one of the governors in the person of Seyi Makinde, and not only him, Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu. So we'll be looking at the politics behind the conflict and what this means and what will be the likely end of it. We would also be hearing from the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike himself. We'll be reading Nyesom Wike's statement, how he cried out and what he has to say. Then we'll be dissecting the associated issues. First, let me touch on the sealing of the PDP National Secretariat. What I can say is that if the PDP have done the right thing, Nyesom Wike would not have sealed that secretariat. You may not like Nyesom Wike, but the truth is, if you fail to do the right thing and you give Nyesom Wike an avenue to kind of like lash in on something, to kind of intimidate or harass you, definitely there's nothing that you can do. So if PDP had regularized their papers, if they have paid the necessary taxes to the Nigerian government, definitely Nyesom Wike would not use this opportunity whereby it would lock down the National Secretariat of the People's Democratic Party. But then again, in 2015, after PDP lost the election, it was being reported that Nyesom Wike was one of the major financiers of the People's Democratic Party. The big question is that if you are one of the major financiers of the party, did you not look into the records of the PDP as regards the National Secretariat? So if you are saying PDP defaulted, PDP is an organization. Definitely, if you say PDP now, it is people that will speak for PDP. And as at when PDP was defaulting in regularizing their paper and paying the tax that they should pay to the Nigerian government, definitely you were a major stakeholder in PDP at that point in time. So what I can say in conclusion as regards the PDP, the ceiling of the PDP secretariat, is that if they send you a dirty job, deliver it with wisdom, in the sense that we all know that Nyesom Wike is sympathetic to the APC and he wants the re-election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But then again, you need to be very careful, because PDP is the party that made you who you are today. PDP is the party that made you the local government chairman. It is the party that made you the chief of staff, the governor, the minister, a minister of state for education, and now you are minister under the APC government. So you cannot rule out the effect of PDP in your life, and that's why I said that if they send you a dangerous job, deliver it with wisdom. Now let us go to the crisis between the governor Seyi Makinde and the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike. Nyesom Wike made a post on his Facebook page, and in that particular page, in that particular post, Nyesom Wike was crying out. He had a lot to say, and let me read it for you. It's a bit of lengthy read, and I need you to listen attentively before we now dissect the issues. Nyesom Wike says, PDP crisis, my position. And it says that since after the 2023 general election, the PDP has been wantonly swinging from one part of a slippery precipice to another, owing fundamentally to dishonesty and lack of trust amongst its key stakeholders. To stem this ugly trend, efforts have been made to arrest this pernicious virus of dishonesty and treachery, and ensure fidelity to agreements with a view to stabilizing the party and moving it forward. To this end, a meeting of the G5 was held in Lagos. In that meeting, I made it clear to the governor of Oyo State, His Excellency Seyi Makinde, that he was the architect of our problems, pointing out to him that non-adherence to agreements reached was the bane of the party, and that was the chief culprit of this anomaly. At the end of the meeting, we resolved to bury the hatchet and make progress. As a follow-up to the aforementioned meeting, there was an expanded meeting in Abuja involving His Excellency Seyi Makinde, His Excellency Umaru Fintiri, that's the governor of Adamawa State, His Excellency Bala Mohammed, that's the governor of Bauchi State, His Excellency Bukola Saraki, that's the former Senate President and the head of the PDP Reconciliatory Committee. Now, I continue the reading. And I in Saraki's guest house. So he's trying to say that all these people that I just mentioned and Bukola Saraki, they held a meeting in Bukola Saraki's guest house. In that meeting, I made it clear that I had no personal problems with Bala Mohammed, except that he hides under the facade of chairman of PDP Governors Forum to serially renege on agreements. Tensions rose mightily in the meeting, and it took all concern to calm frayed nerves. At the end of the meeting, we came to some resolutions, including, now, according to Nyesom Wike, these were the resolutions that they reached at the meeting. And you heard him listing the people, the mighty stakeholders that were in that particular meeting. Now, what are the resolutions? These are the resolutions. One, or should I say A, has been written here, that Senator Samuel Anyanwu remains the National Secretary of the PDP in tandem with the Supreme Court judgment. B, all legal matters relating to Rivers State must be withdrawn by the National Legal Advisor. Now, the legal matters that is referring to here is pertaining to the PDP governor's suit in the Supreme Court as regards the Rivers Emergency Rule. And I'll come to that in a moment. C, the suit on the state of emergency be withdrawn forthwith. Now, D, nobody should deviate from the agreement so reached. Now, if you look at this agreement, you will see that all these agreements, according to Nyesom Wike, are things that favors him, are things that pertains to him, are things that he wants. And I'll be coming into the analysis of that after reading his statement. But just take note of those 4 agreements. In fact, let me read it again. The agreement, according to Nyesom Wike, is that Sam Anyanwu, who happens to be his ally, should remain the National Secretary of the PDP. 2, all legal matters relating to Rivers State should be withdrawn. And 3, the suit on the state of emergency rule be withdrawn. And 4, which is that nobody should deviate from the agreement so reached. We'll come to that. Let's continue the reading. In the light of the foregoing, they pleaded with me to attend the stakeholders meeting at the Bauchi Government Lodge, regardless of my many engagements. I attended the meeting and clearly reiterated my earlier concerns, and to this end, and in order to resolve all other lingering and pending issues, a committee was formed, headed by His Excellency Bukola Saraki. It is disheartening to note that even before the Bukola Saraki Reconciliation Committee began its work, the gentleman's agreement we reached at Saraki's guest house was already being crudely violated. To my chagrin, Seyi Makinde had connived with Peter Mbah of Enugu State to orchestrate the summoning of the meeting of the so-called Southeast leaders to recommend that if Ude Okoye was not adopted as secretary, they would pull out of the PDP. I have since granted an interview to the effect that that resolution of the Southeast leaders cannot hold. Again, Seyi Makinde organized some people in the National Secretariat to insist that the Deputy National Secretary should act as National Secretary in violation of the agreement earlier reached. To attempt to give credence to this farce, a letter was written by the Deputy National Secretary calling for a meeting of the neck of the party. Furthermore, the letter confirming the candidacy of the governorship candidate of the party in the forthcoming governorship election in Anambra State, duly signed by the National Secretary, Senator Sam Anyanwu, and the acting national chairman, was portrayed as rejected by the party through a rebuttal letter signed by the National Publicity Secretary acting on the orders of Seyi Makinde and Peter Mbah. All these actions are in complete violations of the agreement reached and would not do the party any good whatsoever. On the 24th of May 2025 in Jos, for instance, a well-publicized and properly attended zonal elective congress of the PDP was aborted because the letter inviting INEC to the Congress was signed by the National by the Deputy National Secretary of the party. INEC refused to attend because the proper signatory recognized by law, that is Senator Samuel Anyanwu, was not a signatory to the invitation notice. This is undeniably distasteful, provocating, and annoying, to say the least. I have painstakingly put out all these facts so that PDP members and the general public would know the truth. I have been in this party since 1998 and have worked tirelessly for the survival of this party with all my strength, and it is on record that none of these persons have done anything close to what I have done to sustain the party. What is more painful is that I contributed substantially to most of these governors winning their elections, yet I have not made any personal demands on any of them, and I would never do so. Most importantly, I thought that we could keep the trust amongst us, but since it is now obvious that they would continue to play games to the detriment of the party, as is the case in the current debacle in the North Central Zonal elections, I have now firmly decided to pull out of the agreement Ato reached. I have decided to fight on until justice is attained. Nyesom Wike, CON, Federal Minister, Federal Capital Territory, May 25, 2025. That is the account of Nyesom Wike as regards what is happening in the PDP and why he is at war with the governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, and his Enugu counterpart, Peter Mbah. But what I can say in all of this is, if you look at that agreement very well, that agreement seemed to just kind of like protect Nyesom Wike's interest. The PDP is a big party. The PDP cannot just act based on your interest alone. There are a lot of interest in the PDP. The PDP can be a one-man party. You have interest, and that agreement that you said that you reach, although we have not heard from the other parties, if you look at that agreement, there are just things that just favor you and your political cycle. That is wrong. So Wike's position, views or interests must be met, else it will declare war. That's what I see from that particular agreement. If you know what has been going on in the PDP and you follow politics and happenings in the polity, and if you look at it well, its demands are difficult to meet. The demands of Nyesom Wike in that particular agreement, they are very difficult to meet, sincerely, because you are asking that they should withdraw the suit as regards the state of emergency in Rivers State. What I can say to the Minister of FCT is, learn to negotiate your way. It should not be that, oh, if it is not my way, then I would declare war, or all negotiations must favor me. That is not right. And for me, I think that the PDP too should be able to negotiate with Nyesom Wike. And Seyi Makinde is being clever by half, because he sabotaged the effort of PDP and he installed Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and now he is scheming to take over from Tinubu. As they say in street parlance, no be juju be that. You sabotage the effort of the People's Democratic Party. You say, oh, you want a southern candidate. Then you install Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the president. You are doing your second term. You are now kind of like orchestrating to be in control of the party so that you can allegedly be the presidential candidate. So you can see that everybody is just fighting for their own interest. And Nyesom Wike seem to have an attitudinal problem. Sincerely, if you are fighting everybody, then you need to check yourself, because the one fighting Rotimi Amechi, Peter Odile and his wife, Goodluck Jonathan and his wife, Atiku Abubakar, Bala Muhammad, Doye Diri, Dino Melaye, Seyi Makinde, Peter Mbah. Come on. Nyesom Wike needs to check his attitude, because all these people cannot be wrong at the same time. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politics. Subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past video. See you in my next video. I love you all sincerely.